Chat, would you rather read a book or watch a movie? Let me know in the comments. I still remember back in my day where I had that pivotal moment where they said we had to start taking tests on the books that we was reading, like AR tests, and boy, I hated it. I started hating reading when it became a grade. I'm gonna keep it at that. Wow.
There's a serious crisis in education today because kids are too busy 6-7 to learn how to read at their grade level.
The kids can't read, write, or remember anything or use their imaginations, and the teachers are wondering why.
They're feral, they can't read, they're crazy.
People are putting screens in front of their children instead of books.
Why do you need 2 screens?
Because I can't watch YouTube on this one.
And that is
brutal,
leading to not just a lack of literacy, but a lack of confidence and a great deal of anxiety.
Like, they don't know how to put things away. They don't know common decency.
Having to teach and work with you guys as children has been the most traumatic experience of my life.
Their future could be at risk if something doesn't change fast.
I mean, this is crazy, but Gen Alpha, here's my whole theory on this, is I think we're breeding a generation to consume more than they create. Put a 1 in the chat if you agree. The problem with that is when you don't let children be bored a little bit, they don't create anything that's fun. My mom always used to tell me when I was a kid back in my day, son, only boring people get bored. And that forced me to go out and figure out something to do to entertain myself. We even do this with baby Nichs right now. You know, we got a 4-month-old baby. Thank you, guys. Appreciate you. For some of you that don't know. But we'll let her sit around for maybe 10, 15 minutes a day and not entertain her and just kind of let her entertain herself until she gets a little bit older. But then it'll be like hours. Go entertain yourself. Only boring people get bored.
Alpha can't read anything anymore. Do you remember the days when we were in school and we were asked to do things like read books, write essays, or really just do anything that required more than 30 seconds of thinking? Well, apparently at some point since then, we've decided that doing things like that is for losers, and we'd be better off using our time teaching kids more important things, like how to brain rot all over the place. I'm kind of joking when I say that, but not really, because—
But brain rot has gotten so bad. I went to Target the other day, and there was a section called Italian Brain Rot. It's like a toy brand. Italian Brain Rot. They're marketing it now. POV, you're a Gen Z teacher teaching Gen Alpha who already know the 6-7 trend.
Ready? Count with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
maybe it's just me and my—
I mean, hey, I used to be a teacher, and that's actually not a bad thing. Taking some culturally appropriate things and linking it into their education helps build a base and a foundation for them remembering it. So that's not so much a bad thing. But the 6-7 thing is actually, it's pretty stupid.
Silly little goofy brain. But is it crazy that kids know a dumb trend before they know how to count? Like, it's insane to me to think I could walk up to a Gen Alpha kid and they'd have a better chance of saying 6-7 to me than actually knowing how to count to 6 or 7. But in a way, that does feel like an appropriate reflection of our time, because Gen Alpha isn't asked to read entire books or write whole essays anymore. They're asked to write paragraphs, and sometimes they can't even do that.
The younger generation is cooked. I just watched a video of a teacher trying to tell his kids that they have to write a paragraph, not an essay, 5 sentences, and they're moaning and groaning and whining away.
Or put a 1 in the chat if you remember having to type them 3 to 5 page essays. It's got to be at least 500 characters. Boy, I hated that.
About, oh my God, I gotta write 5 sentences.
And it's not like I downed some 4-day-old bottle of haterade and came up with all of this, but there's actual data that can empirically show this is what's happening. If we look at the NAEP, which is the National Assessment of Educational Progress, 40% of 4th graders are now reading below the NAEP basic level. That's the lowest possible level, by the way. And for reference, if you're reading below the basic level, that probably means you can't identify the main point of a paragraph or a character's motivations in a story. So it's pretty much the same reading level as you see on X or on Instagram threads. On top of that, for 8th graders, it's even worse. 1/3 of them are below basic, which is the highest percentage ever recorded in 32 years of testing. Then if you go to the place with the most educated, the smartest, the most genius humans of all time, if you go to the place where they're all hanging out, they will say the same thing.
But I don't know, maybe this is the other side of it for me. So maybe reading's becoming obsolete. Maybe you really need to only know it at a basic level. You know, I'm being super theoretical here, but you know, maybe Maybe the next generation is priming their minds for something else that's more important. Yeah, reading's cool. I remember when older people used to tell me I need to learn how to balance a checkbook. I don't need to learn how to balance a checkbook. Chase does it. You know, my bank does it for me. I don't need to know how to do that. So there's certain skill sets that are obsolete, like writing a check is obsolete. Writing in cursive is obsolete. So maybe reading is obsolete when you can get ChatGPT to just like, hey, summarize this, make it easy, and say it out to me. I don't know. Is that the future, you know, we're leading off into? Maybe kids are going to learn how to these different skill sets, which are going to make them money in different ways, you know? There is a way you can actually make money and go to free cash. You can play mobile games for actual money. If you sign up with that QR code right there, I'll give you $5 on me. On me. So if you don't believe me, here it is. So 45,000 ratings on Apple. I pulled up, I think it was what was the one I pulled up the other day? Trustpilot. Sorry, I'm having my first cup of coffee. But 4.8, 45K ratings. We have some of the people in the chat that pay like random bills with this. So if you're on your phone, you need some extra cash, you can watch movies, you can play video games, you can do reviews. Like you can play mobile games and you can get them on PayPal. You can get them straight cash. So it's pretty cool. I've heard the one complaint I've heard from people is that they have issues with their PayPal. So I don't know if PayPal would be the best. You might want to do like a gift card or something like that. I think it's a little bit easier. And apparently PayPal takes a fee as well. So, you know, it's the only reason I don't like PayPal. Anytime you got to use it, it freaking takes a fee. But easy way to make some money while you're maybe sitting at work, sitting on the couch, not doing nothing. So sign up there. And yeah, there's my gift to you.
Of course, I'm talking about TikTok. There are
the doom scrolling CEO TikTok.
A whole bunch of teachers on there who, for lack of a better word, are saying how sucky Gen Alpha is at reading and overall just comprehension in general.
It feels like teaching an entire generation of weaponized incompetence. Because what do you mean you can't just reread the directions that I strained my voice to read out loud? I can't help you. You need to pick up the pencil and write.
So yeah.
Just write something, dude. That's sad that they were able to just write whatever and they couldn't write anything.
Somehow these Gen Alpha kids can navigate an iPad with an incredible amount of complexity and dexterity, but then you show them a sentence that's longer than 5 words and their brain has to reboot. It crashes. You have to give them like 15 minutes before they can even speak again. So based off of all of that, here's the question that I have. How did we raise the first generation of kids who grew up fully online and now they can't read? Before we go any further...
Well, it's because none of the apps are teaching reading, you know? None of the apps are actually teaching these kids how to read. They're just showing them what they want to see and taking their attention away from that. That's all they're doing.
Further, I want to address something. I know that every generation says that the next generation can't do something, or they're always dogging on the generation that comes after them. People say millennials killed cursive. They say Gen Z killed phone calls. Gen Alpha killed the ability to communicate normally without referencing some dumb trend that makes everyone's IQ lower. You know, it is what it is.
Skibbity toilet riz, W Sigma. Livy Dunn rizzing up baby Gronk, while Duke Dennis is wittily gwittying outside, no phantom tax on Skibbity.
But in this case, I'm not just being a boomer. Like I mentioned...
I'm sorry, that stuff is funny, bro.
Before with the NAEP scores, we can actually empirically see that they're getting worse at reading. And don't get me wrong, I don't have a doctorate or a PhD in looking at numbers, but this...
I got a player hating degree, bro. I still remember I was in 6th grade at Crockett Middle School in Paris, Texas, and they used to put out a little newsletter every single week. This was right when the word crunk was coming out. They put in the newsletter that we couldn't use the word crunk anymore because it meant crazy drunk. And so, you know, crunk was in all the music. Everybody was saying crunk. Everybody was saying it. It was just a common word. And so they told us that we couldn't say crunk anymore. So this reminds me of just like, hey, you can't say this stuff. You can't do this stuff anymore.
Definitely does not look good. And maybe you're looking at me and you're thinking this is just a good old red-blooded American problem. Like maybe we're just too busy letting freedom ring to pick up a book and read a few words in it. Well, you'd be wrong if you thought that, because this is a global problem. The Program for International Student Assessment, or the PISA,
piece of crap,
fun name, they tested 15-year-olds across dozens of countries, and they found that reading scores declined across most developed nations between 2018 and 2022. So no, this isn't just some vibes we're feeling. This isn't just some energy that's being put into the universe. This is something we can see, physically see, empirically see that is happening. Which that means at the end of the day, the question isn't if there is a literacy crisis. The question is what caused it?
Yeah, here's my opinion on this. What caused it? iPads, cell phone screens getting even bigger. I would say marketing geared towards children. I remember when I was a kid, dude, Everything was like, you know, when you talking about kid stuff when I was a child, it was toys that you could hold, physical toys. You know, you picked up a G.I. Joe, you got you a bulldozer. We've digitized everything now, where everything's digital and nothing's actually physical. Like, you don't go out and buy physical toys anymore. Kids don't want to play physical toys. They want V-Bucks. My nephews, for the past 3 years, I've got them something for Christmas and their birthdays. And guess what they've wanted every single year? V-Bucks. That's what they want every year. I'm like, hey, what do you want from Uncle Levi? They're like, we want V-Bucks. They want to buy Fortnite skins. That's what they want. Everything's digital now. They don't want G.I. Joes. They don't want toys. They don't want Pokemon. I wanted Pokemon cards. As a kid, I was like, give me a pack of Pokemon cards. Or give me the new, you know, Game Boy. I like that. I can carry it around, but I wasn't playing it all the time. Get me a new soccer ball. Give me a scooter. Give me some rollerblades. Kids don't want that stuff anymore.
About the literacy decline that a lot of people may get wrong. It didn't start with the pandemic. I mean, sure, the pandemic made it worse, a lot worse, but the trend was already here. Reading scores have been essentially flat or declining since the early 2010s. The 2024 NAEP scores are roughly where they were in 1992. So that means in 30 years of potential progress, we actually haven't made progress. We've made regression. That's what we've done. So what changed? Well, honestly, I don't think it takes some super genius megamind to figure out what happened. Around 2012, something shifted. And here's a little video that maybe will allude, or maybe it'll give you a little hint about what that shift was.
Today, we're introducing 3 revolutionary products of this class. The first one is a widescreen iPod with touch controls.
I told you, bro, the screen's getting bigger.
Second is a revolutionary mobile phone. And the third is a breakthrough internet communications device.
It went from, oh, you can't access the internet unless you're home on that clunky computer, to now you have the internet at your fingertips at all times. That was what it was.
These are not 3 separate devices. This is one device. And we are calling it iPhone. And here it is.
Boy, that first iPhone was clunky. Looks like that first iPod. I still remember this. It had the scroll on it. My buddy had 100 gig one, and I was like, oh my God, did you fit so much music? This dude had so much music on that thing, bro. Just plug that up to the car. Good old days.
In 2012, teen smartphone ownership crossed the 50% threshold.
By
2018, it was 95%. Who would have guessed that giving kids phones and allowing them to nomadically travel across the whole wide web world internet wouldn't be a good idea? Who would have guessed that? Not me. I wouldn't have guessed that. I would have thought it was good. Maybe. I don't know. And here's where things start to get a little bit more interesting. The kids who took the 2024 NAEP reading tests, they were in kindergarten when the pandemic started. Their entire literacy foundation was built during remote learning, Zoom fatigue, and reduced instructional time. So pretty much their whole literacy foundation was built on a big, massive, heaping pile of dumb.
Yeah, dude, that whole thing sucks for those kids, bro.
With a side of cornbread. So the pandemic didn't create the problem, but it did accelerate it. It took trends that we saw that were already a little bit concerning, and it compressed them into a very short amount of time.
You have got to stop blaming COVID for kids not being able to read and write on grade level. Let's be clear. Kids were not reading and writing on grade level before COVID. It's just that COVID exposed how bad the educational system had become at that time. But it is not COVID's fault. Teachers have been being forced to pass kids along, give away free grades. Let's call a spade if we're going to talk about education. Don't blame COVID for decisions that the school board is making. Don't blame COVID for decisions the Department of Education is making. Okay? COVID just exposed where we are in education. Kids were not reading and writing on grade level years before that, okay? You're passing kids along through a system and you're expecting them to get what they need. It's not going to happen. And you can't blame teachers either, because teachers, our hands are forced. And you can't blame parents, because parents actually don't even know what's really going on in the school system. Stop blaming COVID.
But something deep.
I think there's more responsibility that needs to go on the parents than anything. No, like if your kid can't read, when they get home from school, you should be reading with them. You should be taking the time to work with them. You shouldn't just let them be, oh, he's behind. He can just stay behind. Little Timmy doesn't need to know how to. Nah, as a parent, you need to take responsibility.
Deeper was happening than just these test scores. Something was happening to attention itself.
Here's my whole theory on this next part. I haven't seen this. We have made it such to where attention now is an economic factor in everything. I mean, look at YouTube, right? Like just you guys watching YouTube is paying advertisers to be on these videos. So like attention, we live in an attention economy now where I don't have to produce a product. I don't have to produce a service. I guess this is a service, but it's just entertainment at the end of the day. So now all it is it's attention itself that we can monetize on, which is what they do with children. And they pump ads in front of them. And it's a very dangerous recipe, dude.
You've probably at some point in your life heard the statistic that humans have a shorter attention span than goldfish. Well, that statistic is complete phooey. I poo-poo that statistic. It's not right. As it turns out, that statistic is completely and fully made up, allegedly. It actually came from a Microsoft report that cited a website called Statistic Brain, which cited no actual research. Multiple journalists have tried to trace the source and found nothing. Also, maybe this is just me, and again, my silly little dumb goofy brain, but do we actually have a way to accurately measure a goldfish's attention span? Like, is that something we can do? Because as far as I know, goldfish aren't really known for filling out surveys.
Well, and then also, chat, put a 1 in the chat if you agree. I think some people are geared for school, and I think some people just aren't geared for school. I just think some people do well in school, and some people don't. Like, chat, were you good at school? I was not. Cass excelled at school. She became a nurse. She got straight A's. She was a top 10% of her class. I was in the bottom 25%.
Stupid.
I was not smart. Schoolwork and academia wasn't my forte. I was good at words. English I was good at. I was good at poetry, which is why maybe I'm able to come up with the quotes I come up with, but I wasn't really good at math. I wasn't good at science. I wasn't good at history. I couldn't remember a bunch of historical facts that I felt like just didn't matter to me. I know some guys are really like history buffs. I was big into self-help and like memorizing things that would help me, or memorizing quotes that would keep me away from doing the same mistake again. Those are the things that I really gravitated towards. So like, I just think some people are good at school, and I think some people aren't good at school.
Is short form content trains. Novelty scanning, dopamine seeking, rapid context switching. The ability to process surface level information very quickly and then move on to the next thing. And I mean, I guess in some kind of way, these maybe could be useful skills. I mean, I can't think of anything off the top of my head where a person with a 3.27 second long attention span would be beneficial. I can't think of a single thing like that. But I'm sure there is something. There's something out there. Like taking out the trash, maybe. Maybe they're good at that. I don't know. So I'm not saying that those things are completely useless, even though I haven't found something that says the opposite. But what I am saying is that process, those things you learn, are completely different than what you get from reading. Basically, we trained kids on 15-second long brain rot videos and then handed them Frankenstein. And the data actually backs this up. Common Sense Media reports that tweens now spend an average of 5.5 hours a day on screens for entertainment. And teens, they spend over 8 hours a day on screens for entertainment. Meanwhile, the percentage of students who wrote long answers more than 5 times a year decreased between 2022 and 2024.
Wait. So 5 hours a day on screens? That's insane. That's insane. 5 hours a day on screens. Bro. That's like a half of a full work day. That's crazy. All right, let's switch gears here. This is absolutely wild. I've got the full video tagged if you want to go watch it. It's from Sono Jordan. He does some pretty cool topics, dude. I like that guy. So, all right, let's see here. Oh my, wow. I got some stuff bookmarked. I always like the new website came out. Checker Body Count. A website called Checker Body Count receives backlash from women. Shocker. You guys wouldn't want us to check that, huh? Cooch Facts. Here's a graph that I found extremely alarming. So this basically shows we weren't spending money on, so this is like boomers saying, we weren't spending money on $1,000 smartphones or $8 coffees. Your generation is just too dadgum soft. So in 1985, it's showing you this graph, and then just watch the disparity in the rent price and the household income over the years. Yeah. And they wonder why we can't buy homes. My mom was able to buy a home when she worked at the Paris News, dude. I wasn't able to buy a home until I got like a cush corporate gig making $130K a year, and then Cass was also a nurse. And then we bought a home that was $200,000, which I was like, okay, that's not that much money, right? $200,000 in the grand scheme of things, right? But I still had to be able to put down $10,000 liquid just to even get into it. You know, and then the upkeep of having a house. Dude, a lot goes into it.
You left me at my darkest hours. That's a problem for me. You didn't even
have a conversation with me. You didn't sit me down and be like, yo, if you don't get your shit together, I'm leaving you.
When you say he wasn't talking to you, you probably wasn't listening because you're too busy running your mouth. A lot of women don't realize. Men be telling you for so long. Women always say, what's wrong with you? And then when we say it back, all y'all hear is wah, 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 wah. Y'all don't really hear us. That's why y'all don't help us with our problems. That's why it's hard for us to express what we're going through, because I'll say, hey, yo, today was a bad day and I was so long at work. Oh, that's good, baby. It's just on to your problem.
Yeah, true. 100%. Yeah. I always say don't tell your women, or don't tell your girl too many problems, or don't tell women your problems in general, because they will weaponize your vulnerabilities. So you got to really be careful about this. I saw this clip and good Lord, this girl's an idiot.
Stupid. I don't think that you're being more respected by privatizing your sexuality to a husband or a boyfriend. Okay. I don't think that you're being more respected by privatizing your sexuality to a husband or a boyfriend than you are by making it publicly available, right? Like, I think we create this false idea that like your husband is someone who's more likely to respect you than the public eye. So for instance, even the most ardent feminist who's anti-sex work, they would look at a woman who perhaps like her husband buys her lingerie because he finds it sexy. She puts it on. She feels sexy in it because he finds her sexy in it. And they wouldn't say there's anything wrong with that, even though technically she's appealing to the male gaze and she's finding herself sexy because he finds her sexy. We wouldn't see something wrong with that, right? But suddenly, if let's say we take that same scenario, we take away the husband, we put her in front of like a stadium full of men. Now she finds it sexy. We're much more likely to intellectually scrutinize this situation and say, well, is she doing this out of her own volition, or is she doing it because there's coercive factors at play, right? And I think that's an
right? No.
Unfair assumption, because you're actually more...
It's an unfair assumption. You're a runner, dude.
She's a runner, she's a track star.
Your sexuality is supposed to be private and exclusive to one man, not every man.
Likely to be coerced into sexual acts by your husband. Like, women who report being sexually coerced into violent sexual acts reported that it was from their boyfriend or their husband. There's a reason that pimps, their most popular coercion method is the lover boy method, because pimps realize that there's nothing more effective than getting a woman to say yes to you than playing boyfriend or playing husband, right? I don't like the idea that we just assume that sexualizing yourself publicly is just imbued with a lot more disrespect, or you're disrespecting yourself, or more likely to be doing it out of survival and coercion than you are sexualizing yourself for your boyfriend and your husband, when statistics tend to show the exact opposite.
Good Lord.
Stupid.
The word salad was crazy with this one. Yeah, and the thing is are you coercing someone if you're in a relationship with them and you're married to them? Now, I can understand circumstances where maybe somebody's not in the mood, but dude, if you're married to that person, you've pretty much consented that you're going to be with them. You have to go through paperwork. You got to go through the whole song and dance. It's not just like, oh, I was coerced. You're a grown-up, right? Some of the comments, I never had to coerce my partners into sex. It's always mutual. To be honest, I don't even know how y'all stay in a relationship with someone who has to be convinced the moment that something's off. She's completely taken intimacy out of the equation, like 100% taken out. Yes, partners are most likely to be the grape-ist. However, they are not most likely to grape, right? When you have to use soft language like sex work instead of prostitution. The compartmentalization here is gross. Extended effort from one individual is objectively greater than 5 minutes from thousands of individuals in terms of appreciation. Comparing toxic extent of monogamy with despaired commodification with no contact or intimacy is pathological. Good Lord, that was a word salad. I'm surprised I could even read that. I have somebody said, I have a solution. All men should leave women alone. Stop interacting with women. Stop looking at women. Stop dating and marrying women. Let's see what happens. My whole thing is, dude, with this Farah Khalidi is... it's just coping. It's a huge cope, a massive cope. Basically saying that like it's okay for 1,000 men to look at your naked body, but if your husband's looking at your naked body, it's a problem. No, your sexuality, and put a 1 in the chat if you agree. Your sexuality is supposed to be exclusive to one man. It's not supposed to be, exclusive to everyone. Because the thing is, as soon as a bunch of men have access to your body, it makes your value a lot lower. Think about it this way. There's not a lot of people that can go shop at the Lambo store, but there's a lot of people that can shop at the used car lot. A lot of hands are on those cars. A lot of eyes are on those cars. Not a lot of eyes are on the Lambo. Low prices attract a lot of customers. Okay? There's a reason those clearance racks have been picked clean. You go to the Louis Vuitton store, all the clothes are nicely put up on the rack. It's because not a lot of people are touching them. There's a small class of people that can actually afford a $1,000 shirt, and I'm not one of them. But you go to Ross, into the sale rack at Ross, boy, there's shirts hanging off the freaking hangers, shirts on the floor. It's because everybody has them. Low prices attract a lot of customers, and so that's pretty much my whole thing on that. Low prices attract a lot of customers.
Men are ultimately more submissive than women, naturally.
Wait.
And I think you see that
Men are ultimately more submissive than women? What?
men are ultimately more submissive than women, naturally. And I think you see this even in pets. Girl cats on girl dogs are fucking impossible to train. Whereas boys are more likely to fall in line. And you look at the army, and you look at ICE, and you look at the people who volunteer to do these really like mad dangerous jobs. It's men. Men are more likely to follow orders. Like all the manosphere is complaining about constantly is how they cannot get these hoes to fall in line. If we were going to be able to be subjugated, if we were naturally submissive, it would have happened by now. We would have submitted. But even in Afghanistan, the women who are not allowed to sing, to speak, to look out of both eyes are still taking to the streets and protesting. The women in Iran, they're fighting back. The women in America, they're fighting back. We are difficult to control because we don't actually fall in line. We're not naturally submissive.
Good Lord. A feminine trait is being submissive. Feminine women typically, and see, that's just a masculine woman. A defiant woman is typically masculine. A feminine woman is typically submissive. That's also why women don't want to be on the front lines. And then it's not that men are more submissive, it's that men understand hierarchy and men respect rank more than women do. Women are more egalitarian, so they think, we're all equal, it's okay. Don't worry about it, we're all just so equal, it's all right, don't even... No, that's not the case. Men respect hierarchy and understand, all right, I got a lieutenant and I got a general above me, I got a sergeant. I'm a peon in this game of chess, and I'm a pawn in this game of chess, and I'm gonna move accordingly so I can respect the hierarchy. Whereas women are just defiant and they want to all be equal. They like, well, I don't want her above me and I don't want this. It's because they're emotional. It's because they're children. Feminine women are submissive. Masculine women are not. They're not at all. Masculine women are very much so, very defiant and hard to deal with in our head. Jesus.
What century are we in?
2000, not the 20th century, the 2026. Yeah, 20th century.
How many stars are on the U.S. flag?
52. Right? Isn't it? No.
What country did the U.S. gain its independence from?
Texas.
If a dozen eggs costs $3, how much is each egg?
12 divided by 3. So the whole dozen is $3. So 12 divided by 3, right?
Yeah.
Per egg.
He said, yeah.
What century are we in?
4 brain cells fighting for third place. Good Lord. Good Lord. I saw this video of this Kristen Stewart chick. Dude, I'm going to be honest. Her haircut looks just like a musty dude you would see at a high school party. Like, I don't get these cuts. I don't get, maybe I'm barking up the wrong tree here with my ugly haircut right now. What would break your heart if it disappeared from LA?
Immigrants. I can't stand the idea that the dismantling of the culture that did have a hand in like making me who I am, which is so meaningless in the
making you who you are. So it was only immigrants that watched your movies and supported your career?
face of people's lives being like completely unearthed, uprooted, destroyed, like just the this is like not who we are. So like where I'm from, I don't identify with that right now. And so like,
what do you identify with? A man with a mullet? Because that's what it looks like.
I definitely am dying every day thinking, so do we make movies about this? Do we throw all of our money at it? Do we stop?
You're dying every day. You look pretty healthy. Let them move in with you is what I always say. You don't like it? Let them move in with you. I'm sure you got a big crib, Kristen Stewart.
Buying burgers in the daytime? What do we do about this? Like, I can't fathom that it's happening until it doesn't happen. It's like Los Angeles doesn't exist without all of us immigrants.
Good Lord. What would break your heart if it disappeared from LA, immigrants? Now, hey, I'm going to keep it at thou wow. I love me some Tex-Mex. I love me some, Asian food. But a lot of these people came over here legally, bro. If you come over here illegally, get out. Chat, does this look good to you? These BBLs killing y'all. And the thighs don't match. Well, these BBLs killing y'all. God. Doctor should be sued. Looking like a diaper full of poo. Oh my God. I had to see it, so you have to as well, chat. I'm sorry. Oh, what does this chick have to say? Here we go.
Big back, big back.
Oh, sorry. Here we go.
You really are a fat bastard.
You can't even say good morning anymore.
You can't even say good morning anymore. You can't say, oh, how's your day going? How are ya? How are ya? Good morning. No. I said good morning to the delivery man on my street, and you know what he said? He said, thanks. You're very pretty. Can I get your number? No.
I'll take things that never happened for 200.
No. You know, just say thank you.
Ain't nobody saying you're really pretty.
Just say thank you.
I'll take things that never happened for 700 Trebek. That is unreal. Absolutely unreal. What does this chick say? 6 months of hinge dates. Good Lord.
She's a runner, she's a track star.
Can we get some bop lores in the chat? I just love it when a woman tells her bop lore.
First with Rom. Hinge date with Jonathan.
It's the eyes, boo-boo. It's always the eyes.
First date with Jesse. First date with Renjit. First date with Anand. Second date with Anand. First date with Ryan. First date with Austin.
To a date with Matthew. First date.
First date with George. First date with Gareth. Date 2 with a sunburn with George. First date with Mike. First date with...
Do these women ever realize that they're the problem?
Gotcha, bitch.
with Henry.
First date with Eric. First date with Jason.
First date with Sam. First date with Kyle. Second date with Sam. Okay, little hiatus, but I'm back. First date with Aaron. First date with Brian. First date with Billy. First date with Michael. First date.
Good Lord, 6 months.
She's a runner, she's a track star.
I can just see the mileage. It's always in the eyes. What do you guys say? It's in the eyes, Chico. It's in the eyes. Ain't that right, Looks? Let's get you a little treaticles. Free. Sit. Shake. Wait. Free. Good boy. Chat, let me know. Put a 1 in the chat if you kind of like the format here, where I cover a video like the first 20 minutes, and then the last 10 minutes, I just kind of free ball. You guys know what free balling is. Going commando, as some may say. I just kind of freestyle the last 10 minutes and we just cover some random stuff. Personally, for me, I like it. It kind of lets me stay on the up and up, you know what I mean? So if I don't do that, it's sometimes tough to stay on the up and up of what's actually going on right now in the world. So, but yeah, ain't that right, Looks? He could care less.
Won't they do?
But I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. It's good to have you guys out, man. Until next time. Peace.